In the previous lecture, you have seen about the print statement, and you know that a print statement is needed to see the output when you execute program in scripting mode. In this lecture, you will learn more about the print statement. Let me open Atom and close everything. Either you can take a new file and write, or just delete everything from your previous file and start writing. Now, if in case you are not seeing your project folder after opening Atom, you can always open it by clicking the file menu and either reopen the project or by choosing add project folder. Before going into the programming, here I'm just going to increase the font size just to make it easy for you to read, and if you want you can just do this, otherwise just continue with the default font size. For that, click on File, click on Settings, then click on Editor and increase the font size to whatever value you like. Save. Now you are seeing big fonts. Alright, now I'm closing the settings and going back to the program. So here is my scripting file. Now I'm going to show more usage of print statement. First, let's write a simple string to the output using the print statement, which is nothing but the hello world. Print within the bracket, give the string hello world. A string should always start and end with a set of double quotes, and within those set of double quotes write your string which is hello world. Now save the file and execute it. And before that, you might have noticed that sometimes in Atom, when you type something, some automatic suggestions will come, something like when you type a left indented bracket, the pair of the same bracket will be typed automatically, or when you type one double quotes, the other one will come by default, and so on. And if they are not useful, just delete them and continue. But finally make sure that your syntax is correct. Now let me execute this script. I have to go to the directory where I have saved the folder and execute it by calling Python followed by the file name with a space. So you can see that in the output it is printing as hello world, and also you might have seen that an empty line has come up, and it is because of the print statement. The first thing about the print is it will always add a new line after printing whatever is given to it. So in short, if you have two print statements, you will see the content of those prints in two different lines. Every time a print has completed, the output will go to the next line by default. The print is an inbuilt function in Python. So if you are not sure about what is a function, don't worry about it. Just imagine that the print is something that is coming along with Python, or that is built into the Python. To the print function, you can pass any number of arguments. So here we have only passed one string, which is hello world, but it is allowed to pass multiple strings or multiple variables or multiple values to print statement. If you are passing more than one string or one entity, they should be separated with a comma. So let me show you it how. So we are going to print the same hello world in a different way. This time we are going to make it as two strings. First string is your hello and second string is world. So I'm going to add print. The first string is hello, and after the string give a comma and give the second string. Second string is world. Notice that both strings are starting and ending with a set of double quotes. Now let me save this and see the output. You can see that there are two hello world outputs and both are exactly the same. Now go back to the program and see. Notice that you haven't given a space in between hello and world, but still a space is appearing in the output. It is because by default in a print statement, a space will be added after every argument. different arguments to the print statement should be separated by commas. So therefore, whenever you see a comma, you will see a space by default in print statements. Let me show you this in a bit more detail. So let me just print few alphabets. I'm going to write like different alphabets separated by commas. A, comma, the next string is B, comma, the next string is C, comma, and the next string is D. And let's delete the first two print statements just to make it clear for you. Save and execute. You can see that A, B, C, D are printed, but a space is added after every argument in the print statement. Now, you should also understand that it doesn't matter whether you are giving a space outside of the string. Say for example, if I'm just going to copy and paste the whole line and modify it slightly, so I'm going to add a space after every comma here, but notice that they are not inside the string. So within the string, there is no space in between. I just added a space after the comma. Let's see whether they print differently. So I'm going to save and execute the program. But you can see that both outputs are same. There is only one space between them. The space that you had given outside of the string haven't come here. So in short, it doesn't matter whether you are giving a space after the first argument or in between arguments. So even if I put n number of spaces here and save and execute, the output will be the same. Now, if you really wanted to add more spaces in between the words, what you should do is you should add them into the string. I'm going to copy the first line again. Now I'm going to add a space after every alphabet, but this time these are added within the string. Notice that the string is started and ended with a set of double quotes and a space is added in between them. So here again I am adding and one more I am adding. And now if I execute them, the first two lines in the output should be same because these spaces doesn't count. But this space will count because it is coming within the string. So this string is printed as it is. Then before printing the next string, an additional space will be added as it is coming as the next argument, which is the property of the print statement by default. And let's see the output. So you can see that an additional space is coming in between when you add those spaces into the strings. So let me delete the last one. Then there is something that you should notice here. So as I said earlier, even if you add spaces in between the arguments, they won't be counted. They don't have any effect in the output. So you can write it in different way. Let me delete them. So the same print statement, you can write it this way without any space or with a space after every argument or even multiple spaces in between them. And there is no difference in the output as well. But there is a recommended way in which you have to practice from the very beginning, I would say. So whenever you give a next argument in the print statement, after the comma, give a single space and give the next argument. So it's a recommended coding practice, even though it doesn't have any difference in the output. And like that, there are many recommended ways of coding, which doesn't make any difference in the output, but they will make the code more readable for a third person. And also it's recommended to not add extra spaces, just add a single space in between the arguments. And from now onwards, we will be following these practices. So we'll be adding a single space after the argument, even though it doesn't have any significance in the output.